All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Early Morning Crypto Talk. Bitcoin Brandon from Los Angeles, California. We're on YouTube Live today. Go ahead, type in the chat box where you're listening in from. I see Prelvis Lofties from Texas, Shane West, Chicago, I see Brian Roberts, Pasadena, Maryland. That's right. I haven't done a crypto talk in a couple of days. I've been very, very busy in the morning last couple of days. Bitcoin Armo is going on. Rohan from ATL. No matter what your governor says, Mr. Johnson, stay inside. As a disclaimer, I'm not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share a suggestion, and it is up to you to make an informed decision on which direction you want to get into. Dirty Jersey, that must be Peter. Good morning, Richard. There's 4 rules I live by in the crypto space to have success. Rule number 1, education is key. Rule number 2, never invest money you cannot afford to lose. Rule number 3, always get a return on investment back as fast as possible. And rule number 4, where do you see yourself in 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make that happen? Make a decision, take action, stay focused, and do not get distracted. Now, following these rules is not going to guarantee you success, but it will at least minimize your risk. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most that we can ask for. All right, so let's go ahead and kick things off here. Got to do crypto talk early today because I got a presentation coming up in about an hour and a half from now. So I want to get this in since I didn't do one the last couple of days. So let's look at the market. Crypto is at $208 billion, up 3.3% over the last 24 hours. Bitcoin dominance, though, look, has dropped below 63%. That's a good sign. Ethereum is getting back closer to 10%. Ripple's at 4%. So Bitcoin price is at 75.74. Oh, that's a big jump. Yeah, it's up 8% over the last 7 days. That's a big jump there. Ethereum is at 190. Ripple, 19.6 cents still. But Ethereum has had a 20% rise over the last 7 days. 20%. That's something you take note of. I have not, since I didn't do crypto talk last couple of days, I haven't seeing if there's any news about Ethereum and why it's had such a big jump. Tezos had a big jump. 26% over the last 7 days, 9% last 24 hours. Look, oh, wow, look at Stellar. Stellar's up 30% on the week. Wow. Stellar 17.2% last 24 hours. What is going on here? Why the sudden spike? Dash. What about Chainlink? Is up 18% last 7 days. I keep seeing Chainlink everywhere. Everywhere I look, Chainlink. Going on, Kenneth from Houston and Gwendolyn. All right, I want to see this. Best performers over the last, I want to look the last 24 hours. Let me last 7 days. Best performers. Digibytes up 89%. Made SafeCoin 73%. Hive 70%. Stellar 30%. Verge, I'm still holding on to those coins, 27.8%. 14% in the last hour. Let's see, Tezos, Engine Coin 25.7%. Ethereum 20%. Cardano 18.8%. Yeah, my coins are doing very well. Okay, let's go into some news. Controversial analyst Plan B updates Bitcoin halving forecast. Predicts breakout crypto rally. A breakout crypto rally, huh? The controversial analyst who first applied the stock-to-flow ratio to Bitcoin is updating his forecast for the leading crypto. The pseudonymous analyst, known in the industry as Plan B, says he expects the upcoming halving event in May, which will reduce the new supply of Bitcoin by half, will trigger a substantial rise in the price over the next 1 to 2 years. I agree with that. It's not going to happen immediately, about a year from now. He says Bitcoin's next halving will determine whether the stock-to-flow model, which is used to measure how the scarcity of an asset relates to its price, is on point or a complete flop. If Bitcoin doesn't hit $70,000 by May of 2022, he says the model will be invalidated. I think it's going to hit that way before then. The 2020 halving will be like 2012 and 2016, as per the S2F model. I expect 10-time price order of magnitude, not precise, 1 to 2 years after the halving. Halving will be make or break for S2F model. I hope this halving will teach us more about underlying fundamentals and network effects. $55,000 was the original model based on Bitcoin market cap. Later models with newer data and other lost coin adjustment or yearly instead of monthly data had different values, 70 to 100K. Plan B recently polled its 87,000 followers on Twitter, asking what they believe is the biggest risk to Bitcoin over the next year. The vast majority say it's the economic aftermath of the coronavirus pandemic, which has claimed over 170,000 lives, rattled markets, shattered businesses, and wiped out jobs. The analyst says he's not surprised that Bitcoin has been highly correlated with traditional markets since mid-March, but he's less worried about a long-term correlation. During crisis, everything is correlated. What's next is what's interesting. They will not be correlated forever, in my opinion, and I agree with that. I agree with everything he said. Now, when I look at his $70,000 price by May of 2022, what he's saying there is that's going to be the new bottom, the new average, which means Bitcoin is going to get higher than that, and then it's going to correct. So when it corrects, the new bottom would be around 70,000 by May of 2022, 2 years from now. So you got to think the price of Bitcoin right now, it's been hovering between $6,000 to $10,000 for what, like a year? Now that's happened after it bounced to 20,000 in 2017. So if this thing pops to 150,000, 200,000, and then has a correction, and it corrects all the way down to 70,000 by percentage, it may seem like Bitcoin just crashed, but it's still $70,000 a coin. So I tend to agree. I don't know who this Plan B dude is, but I don't remember him actually being wrong on many things. That's why he's got so many people following him. All right, next up. Here's the thing, though. I don't follow him, but I listen to certain things that he and others say, and then I use my own education to decide whether I agree or disagree. So it's not that I'm going to repeat what he says. What he's saying is in line with what I already know. That's my point. Education is key. Education is everything. All right, next up, Bitcoin poised for major bull run, will advance against Ethereum, Ripple, and altcoin market, Bloomberg reports. Bitcoin appears to be in a consolidating bull market and is poised to cement its status as digital gold, according to a new report from Bloomberg. The analysis from Bloomberg intelligence veteran Mike McGlone calls Bitcoin a resting bull that will benefit from unprecedented levels of quantitative easing from central banks. The report also highlights the fact that Bitcoin is up about 40% in the last 12 months, compared to a 15% drop in the S&P 500. Bitcoin and gold appear to be consolidating bull markets that are backing into support zones versus the stocks. Less than 2 months removed from record highs, Bitcoin and gold also stand to be primary beneficiaries of the unprecedented monetary stimulus that's accompanied by a mean reverting stock market. McGlone expects Bitcoin to outperform Ethereum, Ripple, and the altcoin market at large, due in part to the coronavirus, stating that COVID-19 distinguishes Bitcoin from the rest of the cryptos. I disagree. Again, this is where your education is important. You just don't listen to what somebody has to say. I disagree, and I'm going to actually tell you why. Good morning, my cousin, Marnita. Here's why. Let's look at the charts. Bitcoin is going to rise, but let's look at just what happened in the last 7 days. Let's go to the top 10 coins. Bitcoin is up 13% over the last 7 days. However, Ethereum is up 24%. 24%. EOS 12%, Binance 11%, Tezos is up 33%. Chainlink is up 22%, Stellar 40%, Cardano 23%. What is Ripple though? Ripple's only up 8%. So while Bitcoin will have a good performance, the altcoins are going to outperform Bitcoin. That is my opinion. No, Mike Gloom says something different. He thinks Bitcoin will outperform the others. I think Bitcoin will outperform gold, but it's not going to outperform some of the altcoins. So he says the macroeconomic effects of the coronavirus accelerate Bitcoin's process of gaining value relative to other cryptos. Most of the speculative spurt in the Bloomberg Galaxy Crypto Index to start 2020 has dissipated, and on 1 year basis, Bitcoin is up almost 40% to April 2nd versus about a 13% decline in the BGCL. This year will confirm Bitcoin's transition from a risk-on speculative asset to the crypto market's version of gold in our view. I agree with that. According to the report, Bitcoin futures helped tame the cryptocurrency's notorious volatility and is a sign that Bitcoin is maturing from a purely speculative investment to a digital alternative to gold. Bloomberg also expects private digital asset projects like Facebook's Libra to continue to struggle to attain approval from regulators. McGlone says bank regulators are far too skeptical on the reliability of assets created outside of the commercial banking system. Interesting. All right. Some of you may agree with him. You may think that Bitcoin will outperform all the other altcoins. He does. I don't. All right, last up. Macro Strategist says crypto will replace US dollar as world's reserve currency. But Bitcoin isn't up to the challenge. I agree with this with conditions. What does that mean? Well, first, we have to assume that the US dollar will be replaced. That is going to happen. The question is how and why? What circumstances? Now, 2 years ago, I said for this to take place, two things would have to happen, one or the other. One, World War III, and then the aftermath of that is the next step from the United Nations. You got to think, World War I, we had League of Nations. World War II, aftermath, we had United Nations. World War III, I think you're going to end up having a global government. Because each step like that, the world wants to prevent another world war like that from happening. Now, League of Nations was to attempt to bring the world together after World War I, and it only lasted like less than 20 years. World War II breaks off. United Nations, the United States, and the US dollar kept the world in check for the last 70 years. Now, yes, there's always been skirmishes, but nothing like World War II has happened since. But if a World War III happens, to prevent another one from happening again, and the world is already, so close and connected. Just look at coronavirus. Something that people want to eat freaking bats in Wuhan, China. Next thing you know, we got 40-something thousand dead Americans 6 months later. So the world is more connected than ever before. And if you have a one world government, then you're going to have a one world currency. The other thing I thought of, if not World War III, is a completely global financial collapse. And then the nations coming together to decide what the new monetary form would be, whether they go through the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, whether it's the banks that do it because the banks are above the governments. I don't know. What I did not think was not on my radar screen was, what about a global pandemic? That the results of a global pandemic create a global financial collapse. I didn't see coronavirus coming. Bill Gates did. I didn't see it coming. In fact, Bill Gates, 2014, he publicly says Bitcoin can't be stopped, which at that time, we all knew he was neck deep in knowing exactly what Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies are. He's a freaking programmer. Of course he knows. And then all of a sudden, 2 years later, he's talking negative about crypto. I'm going to tell you something. He's pulling a Jamie Dimon. Remember Jamie Dimon from Chase? 2017, he said Bitcoin is dead. Bitcoin is the devil. It's going to get somebody killed. I'm going to fire anybody in my company who's trading with Bitcoin. And then 24 hours later, buys up most crypto assets in the Sweden market. Got fined millions of dollars for it. And the next thing you know, he's creating his own coin, digital coin with this bank. Yes, that's why I said back then, don't listen to what they say, follow what they do. So all of a sudden, Bill Gates is running his mouth against Bitcoin when years before he said it can't be stopped. But he's parroting what Warren Buffett is saying is rat poison square. There's nothing backing it. It's just speculation. It's tulip bulbs. Bill Gates was saying the same thing. And now what are we seeing now? He's got a patent on some form of genetic crypto. What the hell? Genetic crypto? He's programmed something that can go into your system. Then all of a sudden we got this freaking vaccine, coronavirus going on. And then he's saying, oh yeah, the world's not going to be safe until we have a global vaccine and that we can do tracing. Oh, so it just so happens you have a patent out that could create like these nanoparticles, put it in the vaccine that could be traced. So now you can trace every human on the planet as well. And now you're a walking crypto wallet. That's the patent. See, Bill Gates is he's brilliant. He's a genius. He's taken crypto to a whole nother level. He says, how would you like to be the wallet yourself? You're the walking crypto wallet because it's in your blood. That can never be tampered with. Well, by a normal person, they can reprogram it. He's taken it to a whole nother. That was just announced last week. He's got the patent. Wait. This prove I do this stuff live. Microsoft patent on crypto. Oh yeah, program 0606, and they left out one. It's 3 freaking 6s. You can't make the stuff up. 666. Are you kidding me? Really? Oh, that thread's been archived. Okay, what? They're burying it now? Hold on, let me find something else. Microsoft patent 666. Hold up. Oh, really? No, that one's blocked. Oh, so yeah, they're really shutting things down here, huh? Hold on, I'm gonna find this sucker. Scrubbing the internet of this. Oh, this is a CoinDesk article. Microsoft has proposed system that can mine cryptocurrencies using data collected from humans as they exercise or read an advertisement. I might have to have a separate day where I just cover, call it Bill Gates Part 2. But, I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Google patents, Microsoft patents, patent 666, and I'm looking, and they're scrubbing a lot of these articles. You can't find it anymore. What about Microsoft patents, intellectual property 666? Let's see. Yeah, May 20, that's 2015. Really? I got to go back. Okay, I posted this on my wall. Let me see if I can find that. Because they are really scrubbing this. Let's keep going. Yeah, here we go. Gates patent application for a biochip. A biochip. Cryptocurrency system using body activity data. So that's just, I'm not even going to say this is a conspiracy theory. Let's just play an idea. Coronavirus is here. All of a sudden, Bill Gates resigns from the boards of Microsoft and Berkshire Hathaway. He's got his Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation that is taking up all his time now. He's known that he's talked openly about eugenics. His father or mother, one of them, was on the board for Planned Parenthood. He has no degrees in science. He is not a doctor, yet wants to run around Africa talking about vaccines. He's on record as saying that the world is overpopulated and that some form of a system of control needs to be put in check for the human race. He predicts a major, and he called it coronavirus outbreak a year ago. And all of a sudden, now that it's happening, he has some form of a vaccine that he says the world needs to open up again, that you're not going to be able to travel unless you can produce evidence that you got vaccinated, because you pose a health risk. You're not going to be able to cross state lines. You're not going to be able to go into a public place. Imagine this, because they want to open up the states. You're not going to be able to go into a grocery store or a movie theater or a sporting event unless you are cleared of any disease, which means you produce evidence of coronavirus. Now, the vaccine. Now, it's not that you're walking around with the paperwork. All they have to do is scan you, because if they're using his vaccine, he's got a patent on body activity data and a microchip. So he puts that in the vaccine. It's like walking through the airport. You know, when you go through that scanner, put your arms up and it scans your body. Imagine you going through those machines and it can tell if you've got the vaccine in your system or not. And then that vaccine is recording data on your body and remotely sending it to a database. Oh, this is not science fiction. The technology is here, and we're seeing it being implemented. Body activity data. All right, that'll be another day. The next time there's an article about Bill Gates, I'll do a crypto talk just on that. But I just find it interesting that all of a sudden now it's hard to find on the internet. It's all being scrubbed. Microsoft Word used in new Surface on Center. What if I just put in Microsoft patent? Oh yeah, it is Microsoft patent 0606. 666. Why the hell? I mean, this is stuff that it's like they do it in plain sight. Those of you that know Revelations, the mark of the beast, you will not be able to buy or sell goods without the mark. You will not be able to travel. And how can they make that happen? And the people accept it because of safety. Well, we don't need people walking around that probably have coronavirus. We got to scan them. You got to make sure that it's clean. So we willingly accept it. This is some scary stuff right here. But I got way off track. So let's get back to this. The whole point was, how can the world be put on a one currency? What things could take place? We're witnessing it right now. So this strategist says that the US dollar, crypto will replace the US dollar, but Bitcoin isn't up to the challenge. I agree with that. Bitcoin is not going to be the one world currency. Bitcoin will be the digital version of gold. Ain't nobody going to be trying to sell their Bitcoin. By having Bitcoin, you're being put in the top 1% of the new echelon of new money. And that's what this is. It is new money. Have you ever heard the story of the unsinkable Molly Brown? And that entire era, the industrial world, if you go back from, what year did the Titanic sink? 1912? It was like 1919. It was after World War I. And it was right before the Roaring 20s. But also during that time, if you ever watch The Men Who Built America on the History Channel, and that time period spans between 1860s, 1870s, right after the Civil War, 1870s to 1925 or so, that era in between war and really right after World War I. The Carnegies, the Rockefellers, the Fords, the Edisons. There was new money that was being generated, and before that time, the only way you got money wasn't based on your ability to perform. It was based on what family you were born into. So the Industrial Revolution allowed people who never had access to wealth to be able to generate wealth in a democracy like America. And Molly Brown was considered that new money. She wasn't accepted by the old elite, old school elite. Now you fast forward more than 100 years, and that same era is upon us now. We are now in a new industrial revolution. They call this the fourth industrial revolution. Cryptocurrency represents the greatest economic shift in wealth in the history of mankind for the most amount of people, but it's only going to work if you're involved in it. And when I say for the most amount of people, it means everybody, no matter who you are, man, woman, or child, no matter what language you speak, what country you're born in, everybody has access. If you have a cell phone, access to the internet, and a willingness to learn, There is nothing and nobody that can stop you. It's crypto. The problem is 95% of the planet doesn't know. That's why I'm in education. So education is key. They don't even know it exists. But here's what's going to happen. Let's see what he talks about. Because I agree with him. It's not going to be Bitcoin. Jim Bianco, president and macro strategist of finance analysis firm Bianco Research, says he believes that cryptocurrency will replace the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. In an interview on the podcast with host and Morgan Creek digital partner Anthony Pompliano, Bianco explains why the dollar remains the primary fuel for global economies and financial markets. Remember that the dollar is a reserve currency. What that means is 90% of world trade is in dollars. We quote the price of crude oils in dollars. Hold up on that. We quote crude oil. What's the price of crude oil? Has it gone above a cent yet? It went below a freaking dollar. Gas was like $1.67. It hasn't been that low since I was in high school. The early 90s. $1.67 gas. What's going to happen to the dollar if not even the petrodollar is standing up? It also, we quote the price of gold in dollars. When you get into a crisis, everybody looks around and goes, what currency do I want to be in? And the answer is, I want to be in the reserve currency. I want to be in dollars. There's this giant need for dollars, the safe haven currency, and it's because the thing that we trade, it is the thing that we do trade with. Why? As you guys understand history, why is the dollar king? If you don't know or understand history, then you have no idea that this is temporary. The dollar is king for one reason: World War II. The rest of the world got smashed. The United States, outside of Pearl Harbor, was left untouched. With two oceans to the left and the right, east and west, Canada to the north and Mexico to the south, this continent has not had a foreign invader on its soil in more than 150-something years. Think about that for a second. What does that mean? We had all of our industrial plants that were built for World War II. This is why I don't understand this whole coronavirus thing. The nation came together in the crisis of World War II. While all the men were at war, the women had to work in the factories. And all of a sudden, we had all businesses switched to everything had to do with the war. And they were cranking out bombers. Every hour, a new bomber was being made. Yet we can't figure out how to make freaking masks and PPE devices for our hospitals in America right now. Makes no doggone sense. We've done it before. But anyways, after World War II, with our industrial might left untouched, while our allies, England, France, Italy, Germany, well, Germany wasn't our ally, but Europe, North Africa, the Middle East, China, Japan, Western Russia was all smashed and bombed to death. We were the only economy left standing. Now, instead of doing what Great Britain has done in the past to create a global empire, the United States did it a little bit differently. Yeah, we propped up governments with puppet leaders that were always acting in the United States' best interest, but we didn't actually take over the country physically. We just made them dependent on us. We helped rebuild their country by using the dollar because the dollar was stable, and it's been that way for more than 70 years. And then you got countries like today, like China, Russia, Iran. They look at the U.S., we've only been here 243 years. They've been here for a millennium. And they're ready to get back. Oh, wait a minute. Did you guys lose me? Peter says there's no sound. My System says I'm still on. All right, here we go. I think. Yeah, I'm still on. All right, anyways. Those nations are working to end the U.S. dollar control over the planet so that they can get back to their greatness, their manifest destiny. So that is why the U.S. dollar is king, but that can't last forever. And we are now at the end days, at the end time, like looking at the Roman Empire, the collapse of it. It didn't happen overnight. It happened over centuries. So we're now looking at the end days of the U.S. dollar dominance. So how's this going to look? What's going on here? So when you get into a crisis, everybody looks around and goes, what currency do I want to be in? The answer is the U.S. dollar. Bianco, however, says that people have been looking for a better reserve currency over the past 10 years, since the dollar is far from perfect. To quote Winston Churchill, the dollar is the worst reserve currency we've ever devised, except for every other one. And so it benefits that there is no alternative. You're not going to, wave a wand and say the euro or the yen or the pound. Because no other fiat currency can fill the bill, Bianco thinks that the next reserve asset will be in crypto. I agree. There is one other catch to this, though. If the dollar still has some legs to stand on, it's not going to be the dollar as you know it today. It'll be the digital dollar. They will digitize it. He says, I've argued that in theory, the next reserve currency will be a crypto. I thought maybe Libra would do it. No, that was destined to fail because it's Facebook. People don't trust it. But then I thought for sure I was onto something, because the first thing they did when they mentioned Libra was they dragged Marcus in front of Congress and ripped him a new one because they were afraid of what Libra represented. But after backlash, unrelenting criticism from lawmakers, Libra is now no longer what it was originally conceived to be, a single global stablecoin backed by a basket of multiple currencies. Bitcoin is currently the largest crypto by market cap, but Bianco says the king coin does not have what it takes to be the next reserve asset. It probably doesn't exist yet. I said that too. It's either a coin that doesn't exist yet, or it's one that's already here we don't know of. It could be like Ethereum, Ripple, Litecoin, Tezos, Stellar, Cardano. It could be any of these coins, or one that hasn't been developed, or a digital coin backed by the world, backed by the IMF to be the new reserve currency. I don't know that yet. I just know it's not going to be Bitcoin. So it probably doesn't exist yet. I don't know when it will exist or which one it will be, because it needs to be both a medium of exchange and a store of value. Bitcoin might be a store of value, but is not a real good medium of exchange. That is true. Maybe there's some others like Ether or something that you could argue as better medium of exchange, but they're not a good store of value. That is true. I do think it's coming, but it still could be many years down the road. And maybe it exists in some infancy form right now, whichever crypto is going to be it, or maybe it's still to be invented. This is why I'm thinking of Bill Gates again. Let's go sci-fi for a second. Those of you that came on late, Bethany, good morning. You just missed out. I had a good talk on Bill Gates. But let's just look at this for a second. Bill Gates, computer programmer, genius. All of a sudden, it's all about vaccines and whatnot. He now has a patent, 666. I'm not making that up. It is 666, crypto patent by Microsoft, using body activity data to chip you or to put something in a vaccine that now every human has. Now, you are a walking database. You're a walking wallet. Everything you do is being recorded. Everything. Everywhere you go. You don't need to have your smartphone on you. And don't think he's not already developing sensors that can pick it up. So let's say you cross the border, right? But you don't have the vaccine in your system, and all of a sudden a red alert happens. No, it didn't just replay. I'm still here. So a red alert happens, and imagine some NASA type control center and a big screen TV, and it pulls up, Bethany and Seattle just crossed into Oregon, or somebody just crossed into Oregon and they do not have the vaccine. And next thing you know, you got authorities swooping down on you. Oh, they'll know because you have the vaccine, you boarded an airplane, where you went. They're going to call it tracing data. That's the word you're going to start hearing all over the time. We got to do tracing. We have to do tracing. And what better way than to chip people? People don't want to get chipped. Okay, you take the vaccine. You're chipped and you don't even know it. And Bill Gates is the one behind it. Really? All right, so the next Bill Gates article that comes out, I will be, I'll do a separate crypto talk just on that, because you just got to connect the dots. I said in 2017, he is so deep in crypto. He knows far more than he knows more about crypto than I do, than anybody else, and blockchain technology. And now we got this patent. Cryptocurrency system using body activity data by Bill Gates. Wasn't Bill Gates just running his mouth saying that he's not about crypto because it's not real? Just like what Warren Buffett was saying. But next thing you know, he's got a patent out for it. I'm sorry, is he a scientist? Does he have a degree somewhere? What does he know about vaccines? I'm just saying. Publication number 2020 666. Hal Lindsey couldn't have written this up in Left Behind series. Man. All right, that is it for Crypto Talk today. I hope you learned something new. As always, that's the point. Yeah, I wasn't here the last couple of days. I am doing 2 presentations today, one at the top of the hour. Why am I doing presentations? Because I believe in what Jim Rohn says. Build a financial wall around your family so high that nothing can penetrate it. So it doesn't matter what the government does, what the banks do, recession or what. You still have the resources to take care of your family. So if you don't have the resources right now, you got to learn how to build a network to earn it. What's your plan B? We don't know how long this coronavirus thing is lasting. You know what they're saying? If we don't have a vaccine, it's going to last until 2022. You guys prepared to go another 2 years like this? What about even 6 months? Are we going to have a stimulus check from the government every month? No. What's your plan B? So I'm doing presentations to present a plan B. It is not the only plan B, a plan B that if you choose it, it may work for you. But at least be informed about what options there are out there. So that's going to be today, top of the hour, 12 p.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, and 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific on www.uptogive.info. Hop on, learn something new. With that, hope everybody learned. I will see you all in less than an hour. Those of you who hop on, those of you who came on late, yeah, you want to go back and replay this. And the next time I see a Bill Gates article, we're going to cover it in detail. Have a great day, everybody. Bitcoin Brandon out. See you in less than an hour. God bless. Bye-bye.